So, hello everyone, and welcome to our next episode of Estafet, where we meet our colleagues from Earth and we get to know them with some questions and answers. And today we have the lovely Janine with us. We're back to Holland today, and so we're going to learn about Janine and how she works and a little bit more about her. Hi, Janine. How are you today?
Hi Anna, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for inviting me for this interview. Thank Olga as well.
Yes, very happy to have you here with us today. And so we'll just start. If you could introduce yourself and where you're from and where do you live now?
Yes. Well, my name, Janine Booij. I'm from the Netherlands. I was born in a small village, Nieuwkoop, in the Netherlands, but I don't remember much of that because my parents moved to Duivendrecht, just beside Amsterdam, attached to Amsterdam, when I was 1 year old. So I grew up there, and I still live in Amsterdam now.
Okay, nice. So you live in Amsterdam. Nice. And what is your education or your profession? What have you studied in your life?
Yes, that's a lot. So, so I'll just give a short summary.
Yeah, why not?
I did a bachelor in communications, journalism, editing, copywriting, and I worked in that for a long time, actually. Also, when I started doing other educations, at some point I got some fiscal complaints. I wasn't really on the right track for me, I felt, and that brought me to a soul search and to looking actually for to resolve my problems. I had a lot of tension, repetitive strain injury, and so I first went more the physical way, like massages, kinesiology, and gradually I went more to the psychological way. But it's always combined. I felt that from the beginning, body and mind. Mm-hmm. So I did educations. At some point I didn't need it for my own complaints anymore, but I was just interested in all the alternative remedies. Yeah. And I did a bit of a search there in educations. I did still freelance writing work, and then I started doing massage courses and also starting a practice with that, kinesiology, healing methods, all kinds of things. And finally, I still do some other things as well. But I found regression therapy, but that was really, for me, the thing that I was looking for. Then I felt I'm on the right track now.
Yes, like many of us also find this way. And how did you actually find out or learned about regression therapy?
Yeah, also that came on my path in different ways. At some point, I had in a meditation, I had a vision of a past life of myself that gave an answer to me, like, why is this pattern coming back to me all the time? And it was just one flash, but it was like a photograph. Mm-hmm. And I felt, okay, that's me. So I'm like, oh, what's happening here? And then there were different ways. I sort of avoided it in the beginning. I'm like, okay, I know that's enough. But then at some point I was in Thailand for just for a holiday, and I did a fasting course there. And there was a lady from Luxembourg, and she was a regression therapist, and she introduced herself, and she offered sessions, and she said, well, we don't necessarily go to past lives, but if it comes up, we explore. And she seemed nice, so I did a session with her, and a lot. I went into that past life that I'd already had a glimpse of. Also, other things came up, my grandfather and the childhood memories. So it was very emotional, but also very healing. And she said after the session, well, you seem to have, a feeling for this. So maybe you're in the Netherlands. There's Hans ten Dam. He teaches this. Maybe look into a course with him. And then after that, I did some other things. I forgot the name actually. And And then in my practice, I got more and more people also with the physical work that I did with the massages that came up with like, well, first of all, emotions. And in the body work, they always say like, oh, just let people cry and then they'll be okay. But it didn't work all the time. So I started asking a bit more about what was coming up, and you know, they would describe pictures or situations either in childhood, but also sometimes past lives.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I had this lady that came into a past life. She was all coughing and turning blue, almost crying, coughing, and she came into a past life where she was tied up with her husband that had died. He was a prominent figure in the society, and it was a culture. I'm not sure where it was, but she the widow would be buried together with the husband, and she was still alive. So it was very emotional, very painful.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just, you know, let her cough and I let her cry, but it didn't end. And then at some point I remembered from my session, so I said like, okay, so just imagine that you leave your body and you look from above at your body, what's happening. And then she became all calm and it worked. And I was actually surprised. But after that, I was like, okay, now I need to know more about it. And I started looking for this guy she'd been talking about and the education, and then I started the course with Tasso.
Mm-hmm. So you went to the Tasso school in Amsterdam or
Amersfoort. At that point it was Utrecht,
mm-hmm.
in the middle of the Netherlands. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so that was my next question. So then I have the answer to it also. You went to Tasso with
Yes.
Hans, and yeah, great. And so now, so you attended that, and so how is being regression therapist is a part of your life? What work do you do now, and how do you combine?
Yeah. I work now as a regression therapist. I have my own practice, and I do some massage, but more regression therapy. I also do constellation work, and I teach for Tasso. So it's a big part of my professional life, but it's also, yeah, a big part of my life in general. I feel I used to work for companies and doing editing and communication, and it was more a role I played. But with regression therapies, yeah, you can't play a role. You have to be authentic, otherwise you can't work with people. And so it feels like it's me.
Mm. And how did it actually help you? So you work now as a therapist, but how do you see the regression therapy helped you as a person? I mean, you already mentioned a few things. Are there anything else that you would like to share, like how it actually affected you in your life?
Yeah, well, in many ways, I think mostly that I feel more in peace with myself, just being more true to myself, more authentic, going more with the flow of life, and also what my feelings are, where my heart goes. I want to go, and I feel that I'm getting the help to do that. And yes, and yeah, and the work, it's like I'm on my path. I may not be at the end of the path, but I feel I'm on track.
Yeah, wonderful. Are there any special techniques that you like the most in regression, or that you maybe have used the most? Or do you mix?
Yeah, I do mix
techniques?
things actually. I use many methods, but for Tasso in the last year in the Dutch school, we have like our own project that you do kind of research with a method that you like to explore. And I worked with the induction by touch, so touching people, going to and asking for the emotions. So maybe like the place with the most tension in the body, or the less energy in the body, and then ask them to go into it, get the emotions, and go from there into regression. Also with breath work, finding the blockages through breath work, and then, you know, when the breath doesn't go in, there's often something yeah, some unresolved emotions that are stuck there. So you can easily get into the emotions and let them go back from there. I also used the Gestalt method with the empty chairs. For example, when people have like bodily complaints or physical complaints, or also subpersonalities. You know, you take the different chairs for the different personalities or the complaints, which always turn out to be a personality, or a past life, or a child part, or sometimes external energies. And you find that more. So I like to sort of play with it.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
very interesting. I like also that you work with breath. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
A lot of
Is there a, one favorite story from your practice that you could share with us?
There's many interesting stories, but I think the ones that remain with you the most are from the early practice, the ones that went really deep. So there was one young man that came here around his 20s, and he came to the Netherlands to study. I think he was from India, or at least Hindu background. And once he got here to study, he couldn't do much. He was a bit depressed, and he was surprised by himself. I'm not like that normally, he said. So, and even he had thoughts, like when he went on a high building, a high tower, there was a thought in his head like, why don't you jump off? And so it was, it was really strange to him, and his family actually asked him to do something about it, and that's why he came to me. And we did a session, and he came into a past life where he was sent away by his parents because he didn't do well in school. He was sent away to an orphanage, and during that ride to the orphanage, there was an accident, and a really bad accident. He got crippled. He didn't die. He got crippled, and he lived on for some years, but eventually he killed himself because he just couldn't cope with it. So once we did that session, the depression was gone. He didn't have any of those thoughts anymore. But there was something else that happened. His mother, when she heard about it, she started crying because as a child, he had these incredible pains in his legs that were popping up also in the session. That's what we started the session with, actually. That came up. And she went to doctors and hospitals and so on, and no one could find anything. So she thought, oh, that's fine, that's it, why it was there. And he said after the session he had 1 or 2 days that it just came up very intensely again, and then it was gone forever. So it was a side effect that was quite nice.
Yeah. Wow, we all love the side effects. Sometimes the unexpected results that come. Wow, that's beautiful. My next question would be, so you are a member of Earth, you being also a long time. Since when are you a member of Earth, actually?
I think it was 2010. I was still studying, and I went first to the annual convention in Kleve in Germany. I'm very happy that I went there at that time, because there was Roger Woolger and Morris Netherton, two of the pioneers also in this in regression therapy. And by now, as you know, they died. So it was my luck to have been able to see them work still. Yeah.
Wow. And so then, since then, you've done a lot of things in Earth.
Yes.
Right? Could you share some of your roles and activities?
Yes, I started with the membership committee. I was in there for a couple of years, and then I was asked to join the PR committee, of course, because of my background. I was a little bit reluctant at first, but then I'm like, okay, I like Earth, so I'll do that. I'm still in the PR committee now. I've been a chair when I was a board member. I've been 4 years board member of Earth, treasurer of Earth. And I was then chair of the PR committee, and now I'm just a member of the PR committee, and I'm in the financial committee also for a while as a chair, and now as a member.
It's a lot of things, very active.
Yes, the board period was very active. Now I'm, not the most active in the committees anymore, but I like to contribute because
Yeah.
I think Earth is really beautiful organization, and yeah, we need people to help getting it going, right?
Yes, yes. Is there anything you think that the Earth still is important for Earth to continue doing, or maybe do more, or add?
Yeah. Well, I think the main thing of Earth is the connection between different schools, different countries. We all have different approaches, and we can learn from each other, and we all share the same passion. I think there's not that many professions where people are so excited about as regression therapy, but I think that is what we have in common throughout the association. Yeah.
True. Yeah, the connection is the most important.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Is there any message that you would like to, or anything you would like to say to the fellow members of Earth and the therapists?
Yeah.
From you?
So keep doing what you're doing. I think we're doing very deep, very profound work. We're helping people to heal, and even though we're not always understood outside our circles, yeah, we need to keep doing this. And people are healing from severe problems, even physical problems sometimes, and relationships heal. People get more in touch with themselves, and so we make the world little by little a bit better place.
Yes. Yes, we should continue that.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm just going to finish up with one question. Is there something that in your life as a therapist, or just as you, that you still haven't realized but you dream about doing?
Well, I have done some workshops abroad. I would like to do some more, and maybe a bit further ahead in the future, I'm dreaming of maybe a retreat center somewhere in a beautiful place. And most wonderful would be in a bit of a warm place.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I wish you very best of luck to achieve that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope everyone will enjoy this interview with Janine. And again, you might be next, and that will lead me to my last question.
I would like to propose to interview Yasmin Tokatli. Yeah, because Yasmin, she's been active in Earth from the beginning. She's been one of the co-founders of Earth, and yeah, she's very active in Earth, and she's a very lovely personality, always willing to help. And if there is some tension here or there, she will try to soothe it, and she listens to everyone, and she is quite modest in Earth. She always does her work behind the screens, but she does a lot for Earth. So I think she should be a bit more in the picture.
All right, so we will do that. Thanks a lot for bringing her, and again, thank you so much for your time, for your stories, and for your sharing. And we hopefully see you also this September.
I'm not sure yet, but I hope so too.
We hope to see everybody, all of you, and also you, Janine. And once again, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you too, Anna, and bye to everyone. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Bye.